In this video, let's talk about your softball throwing mechanics and specifically your hand position once your hands break. So if you're new to my channel, I'm Coach Dan Blewett. I do tons of softball throwing videos, softball fielding videos, infield drills, strength training, mindset, all that stuff. So if you're new to my channel, definitely consider subscribing because I put out new videos all the time. So today, in the softball throwing motion, we're going to talk about your hand position. This is going to be really quick, but there are some myths that we need to debunk. So number one, if you're new, I have a video about why we shouldn't point the ball towards center field if you're, well, center field more if you're a baseball pitcher, but you shouldn't point it back if you're a softball player. That's old stuff. I was taught that when I was a kid, and no one teaches that stuff because they're trying to teach the wrong thing. It's just, it was what we taught like 20, 30 years ago, and it just like is still slow to kind of completely go away. But basically, we need to think about the mechanics this way. So once we're here and we start to rotate, my chest and my core are rotating, and my arm is flung back into this externally rotated position. My core is rotating very, very fast, and it throws my arm back, and it goes back, and then it goes forward, right? We all know that. So my wrist and my forearm, they're going to be here to here, right? And so my hand is going to be behind the ball, and then it's going to come over top of it. So here's what we need to think. Let's think logically about this for a second. If I'm pointed back, and I can just kind of just mimic this from here, but if I'm pointed back, and as I start to rotate, my wrist is not in the position to throw the ball this direction, which is where I'm going. So I'm here, I'm gonna go throw it this way. If I rotate, my hand is still sideways. This doesn't make sense. So my hand has to rotate back to get behind the ball and then go forward, which your body would never do that. Your body's very smart. It doesn't do stupid, inefficient things when it doesn't have to. It does the easiest thing possible when it can. So this is not going to put your hand in the proper throwing position as we start to accelerate. It's going to have to turn back out of it, which is a wasted step. Likewise, we sometimes see players training and there's some drills, and just because you see a drill with the arm facing, the ball facing towards it, doesn't mean that's the way they want your mechanics to be. It might have some other purpose, so don't always view any specific drill in a vacuum. Because I definitely have some drills where if you were to like break them down, you'd be like, that doesn't make sense. Well, it's like, well, we're doing it this way because we want this to happen, not because we want that to be the new mechanics exactly. So always consider that. So I'm not picking on any different drills. So I'm saying this is not how we actually throw. You'll see some players actually throw this way, and I do have an example I'll play right now. You'll see some players throw with the ball here, and this is better than with it that way, that's for sure. But this is still, again, if I start to rotate, my hand is sideways. My pinky is leading me towards my target down here. So my hand's got to come back. So if I'm here, my hand has to rotate back so I get behind the ball and then I throw. And again, that doesn't make any sense. So what we want to do, and this is what you'll see major league infielders do, and they're a great reference to look at because these guys all throw super hard. And unfortunately, even if you get slow motion footage of a lot of D1 softball players, you're still going to see bad throwing mechanics. It's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is. So they're not always a good reference point. Major league infielders, they all have good throwing mechanics. You can't play Major League Baseball unless you throw hard across the diamond. And what you see from major leaguers is when they get the ball here, and they pull their shoulders back. And when they do that, their palm is facing down. It's not facing back. It's not facing towards their head. The ball's facing down. Now their hand's gonna be somewhere between here and flat as their mechanics start to go. So they're really not gonna be here either. You don't see high-level infielders do that either. So it's typically just pulled back slightly above parallel or somewhere in this range, but my hand is facing the same way my chest is facing. And so now when I start to rotate, my hand is just now behind the ball, and then it's gonna go forward. So it's the thing that makes the most logical sense. So basically, when I field a ground ball or I get a fly ball and I'm going to throw this way, so my chest is perpendicular like I'm closed, your palm should be facing the same direction as your chest. But your palm is probably going to be facing down, but again, your palm is facing the same direction as your chest. It's not facing forward, and it's not facing backwards. Again, I think the handbrake is a really important part of your mechanics, and where your hand is going to go is important. So if you have a camera phone and your coach or your parent get some slow motion video of the softball player in your life and look at the way their hands separate. Typically, this is not too big of an issue. Typically, this is not like a main problem. Unless you're teaching them to point their hand away, they probably won't do that naturally. Again, most athletes, just their bodies sort of figure it out, and they're almost certainly not going to do this. This is, I think, less typical than that. But either this, I'd say only probably 15% of players probably do this naturally. And I'd say probably only 15% do this as well. And I'd say the vast majority just face the ball to where their chest is going naturally. And that's my experience working with lots of softball and baseball players over the years. So again, this isn't something that we're really trying to fix all the time, because most players will do it right on their own, but we just don't want to teach them into this thing, and we don't want to teach them into this either, where the ball's facing the head. Again, you might do drills, because I've seen some drills out there that make sense, that like have a purpose greater than just where the hand is going. But we wouldn't want to say, hey, we want your mechanics to be like this permanently. That's not what we're looking for. It's not what we see in the best athletes in the world. So again, hopefully this video helped. I think your hand position, the way your hands break, are really, really important. And so we want to just do a quick tutorial today to show you what that's supposed to look like. So if you're new to my channel, hit the like button for me. I appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. Check out in the description links below as well my online courses called She's Got a Cannon. I have 2 versions, and they're great for analyzing your throwing mechanics and getting customized solutions to fix your mechanics, increase your velocity and your command. And then I also have a ready-to-go plug-and-play course for coaches. So if you need something to implement for your team, that course is also great for it. So check those out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.